All right, everybody, welcome in. I'm Jeff Sentell. This is Before the Hedges on DawgNation.com, brought to you by Kroger. It's another Wednesday night. That's mean we go Wednesday night live. Everybody knows when these players get between the hedges, that's when everybody's exciting. But every Wednesday night, we have a live show on the DawgNation social channels. You got Facebook, I think you got Twitch, you got YouTube, you got the DawgNation homepage, you got Twitter, and we go Before the Hedges. And like last week, we had Doogie Miller, big-time offensive lineman, nasty streak offensive lineman out of Virginia. What we try to do when these guys commit, we try to bring them to you guys. And you know that handsome fellow on the left right here, that would be CJ Allen out of Lamar County in Barnesville. Guys, really excited to talk to him. He's a young man that you think of it. Now, folks, really lately, Glenn Schumann does not miss. Not only does he get a really good football player, physical, fast, speedy. They're future team captain types. They're the type of guys that you can see kind of like Jalen Walker in the last class. You can see them going to the SEC media days. You can see them representing Georgia at the 50-yard line on the coin toss. They just have it all put together. The inside linebacker and the linebackers should be the quarterbacks of the defense. And for me and for everybody here on DawgNation tonight, it is my pleasure to welcome in out of Barnesville, Georgia, the Trojan, a three-sport athlete, CJ Allen, Lamar County's finest. CJ, how are you doing tonight? It looks like we got a dip. CJ dipped out a little bit. The joys of live television there, but yeah, Marvin Roach, we did point the wrong way, but Dennis Simpson, Wendell Brewer, Rhett Romack, Shane Simmons, thanks you guys for joining in. Everybody joining in tonight. CJ will be back. He just had to go tackle somebody probably in Lamar County, but he'll dip in. He'll dip right back out. Georgia linebacker commit CJ Allen is our special guest tonight. Tiffany, I don't think Georgia's going to lose his commitment. This is a pretty impressive young man. Pretty impressive, solid. That's the word I would use to describe him. He's there, and then he's gone. See there? Where I got Peaches. Peaches is over my shoulder right there. Peaches is looking for him. We're going to see if Peaches can find him. But anyway, guys, it is a huge time to be following Georgia Bulldogs and Georgia Bulldogs recruiting. CJ Allen right there getting ready to join us back in the class. Look at that, guys. He's got an incredible virtual background. Very rare to see commits that are that dialed in, that they got the background representing the G as well. CJ, how you doing, man? CJ, I got you. You there, man? Yeah, CJ, what's going on, man? How are you doing today, man? What kind of week have you had at Lamar County, man? What you guys doing? Morning practices? You getting on the field? What's going on? Got any contact practices down there yet? CJ, I think, what has it been? It's been a couple of weeks now since you've committed to Georgia. What's that been like, man? What's that been like now that you've kind of fully committed to the G? What's it been like now that you're part of this class? Okay, so we're going to keep – we got you. We hear you. You know, it's just part of doing a live show like this. It's funny. We had CJ on live. We were having a great conversation back and forth, testing it out. And then finally when the curtain goes up, we go live on Facebook. We go live on Twitter. We go live everywhere. That's when internet connections start popping. Hopefully you guys can hear me very well. Can you guys hear me very well? I'm going to tell you, that guy moves fast. But, you know, one of the things that's going on with Georgia recruiting, and there he is, CJ, in and out of A-gap. He's back. CJ, can you hear me, bro?
How the what's going?
It's all right.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, man, I can hear you very well. You were talking a little bit. My question was, what's it like being a dog, man? You've been committed for 2 weeks now. What's it been like?
I mean, I feel like it's been great. You know, it's like with this short amount of time, a lot of people reached out. Like a lot of people with Georgia reached out. You know, a lot of fans reached out. You know, the fans is crazy. So I would say it's definitely like a lot of people reached out. So it's been great.
Have you gotten a bump on fan love from social media yet? As you see right there, guys, I want you to look at that little lower third right there. You can follow him right there on Twitter, CJ the Goat 1 on Instagram, or follow the real CJ 1 on Twitter. CJ, what sort of response has it been like for the fans since you became a Dog?
It's been a good response, you know, especially being a linebacker. So they really love that, you know. So I say the sport is different. It's crazy.
Let me see. I've been going back for a while. I can remember last year I'm driving around Mississippi talking to Branson Robinson, and I'm talking to CJ. And CJ, it was pretty clear to me that Georgia was going to be one of your top schools for a very long time. The way they recruited you, the way they prioritized you. What ultimately for you was the reason why you chose Georgia? I know it was just more than a perfect official visit, because Georgia does those perfect official visits very well. But for you, ultimately, why did you choose to commit to the G?
I'll say really take it back from the beginning. You know, I had went to the camp. It was like I want to say June. I think it was June 1st. I believe it was June 1st, 2021. Take it back then. So like really just putting like sweat and grinding in there at the camp. Then fast forward, you know, recruiting, being consistent. You know, plus tradition and plus talking to Coach Smart. So that really did it.
Did it seem like Georgia wanted you from the beginning? How did Coach Schumann and Coach Smart let you know that they'd love to see you in Athens?
I would say like 2 weeks before Coach had offered me, me and Coach Schumann, we was on FaceTime like you know like probably like twice a week, you know, or once a week before he had offered me. And my coach had called me to the office and everything like that. And I got a phone call with Coach Schumann. We was on the phone talking. Then he said, "You want to see me in person?" And face to face, and that's how I went. So the relationship ever since then been great.
Do you remember what you felt like when they offered you? What was that moment like for you?
I knew it felt great. Like it felt great, but I didn't. It's crazy when he offered me. I had a straight face. I didn't smile or nothing. I just looked him in the eye. But in the inside, I was jumping around because I can say it now. But it's been all my dream for my home state. So when the offer had came, this was like my first big. It was like the first one. So when that offer had came, it was like, let's good, let's do it, let's ride, and make me want to work harder. So.
CJ, did the staff ever tell you, this is why we offer you, this is what we like in your game, this is why we think you can play for Georgia?
Yeah, for sure. You know, at the camp, you know, he had told me, you know, of course, you know, football player, good football player, whatever. But he's like my character, really. So my mom always told me my character would take me longer and further than anywhere. So really just having a good character. And yeah, often he told me to stay the same person, don't change. Said I haven't changed at all.
CJ, how does Glenn Schumann so effective at recruiting? It's almost like, and that batting average is probably 80% right now, 800, the way he targets guys and goes after them. What do you think makes him sell Georgia so well? How is he so effective at recruiting for the Dogs?
He's very clear on he's not going anywhere. And plus, you know, he's a very honest and truthful person. And like outside of coaching, he's just a very caring person. You know, he cares about you as a person, as a player. And you know, also like the football part, it speak for itself. You know, just look at the track record, kind of speak for itself. But him just being an honest person and truthful.
Now, let me see if I can rip off 5 quick facts about CJ. Number 1, when I think of CJ right now, I think of him at G-Day because he wore a Malcolm Mitchell old school 16 red jersey.
Mm-hmm.
I asked him why he rocked that old Malcolm Mitchell, not just because it's a South Georgia or down South Georgia boy guy, but Schumann was the coach of the red team, so he had to rock the red jersey to support the coach that was recruiting him. 3-sport athlete. CJ, I think, did you ever get below 11 in track season this year? What was your best 100-meter time this year?
My best 100-meter time, 11-1. I had a hamstring issue towards the end.
So he had 11-1. I think on the basketball court, you were good for maybe 7, 8 points, 4 or 5 boards a game. Not only did he pick up 90-plus tackles on defense as a primary linebacker, but he played both ways, that Ironman football. Also went over 1,000 yards on the ground playing for Lamar County. CJ, what's tougher, man? What's that like, going both ways and excelling both ways? Do you have more fun at linebacker? Do you have more fun at running back? How do you look at that?
I would say it's definitely fun playing running back. With playing linebacker, to me, it kind of means something. Kind of you setting the tone. I'm not the quarterback on offense, but I'm the quarterback on defense. So it kind of set the tone, especially when you go out there first on defense. You make the play, make the tackle, then you come back and score. So it's kind of big. I definitely say it's kind of. I mean, it's tough, but it's like I love it though. I love it. I don't want no other way.
CJ, I guess for you, when you talk about the type of linebacker you are, the type of linebacker you try to present on film, what do you hope people see about your game?
Really, just like very smart player, fast, from point A to point B into the attack, and physical.
True to that. That's what the film actually looks like. Now he plays for Lamar County. They're the Trojans. I know, CJ, one of your goals this year is to get a region championship and go into the playoffs. That's something that doesn't happen all the time at Lamar County. For you, what's the outlook for your senior season this year? Is it going to be a fun last ride there in Lamar County?
It's definitely gonna be a fun last ride. It's all about what you make it. But it's definitely gonna be a fun.
Now, guys, this is your chance. Obviously, you can follow CJ Allen on Instagram, follow him on social media on Twitter. Thanks to everybody for joining us. If you're just jumping in, drop your questions right there below. I'll do my best to play point guard, be Trey Young, popping and shooting the questions to CJ's way. While we let a few of those gather in, I'm going to head. See, we start talking about players, and there goes Peaches Park. This is a question I know Peaches was waiting for. CJ, I know there's a couple of dudes out there that the whole fan base wants to see become dogs with you at linebacker, and last night was an interesting development. Former Michigan commit Raylan Wilson decommits from Michigan. That's a guy I know you're close with. That's a guy I know you took an official visit with. What do you think he could mean for Georgia if Georgia becomes the choice? What type of guy, what type of player do people need to know about Raylan Wilson?
Raylan, I know he's same, fast and physical, Also, he'll be another linebacker because I think right now I'm the only linebacker submitted. So, really just it's so that Georgia, especially linebackers.
Yeah. Raylan, I had a chance to talk to him. His father, he actually lost his father to a couple years ago, but his father played receiver for the New Orleans Saints in the NFL. His father gave him a really great recipe. He said, he says, I'm going to give you the recipe to be great at football, but you got to get in that kitchen and work. And one of the things Raylan told me is that he's always got to get in that kitchen every day, following that recipe to be great. You look at his film, man, he's returning punts. He's returning some kickoffs.
Yeah.
He's playing some running back. He's playing, they call it super back, the position he plays there. Not only is he's an offensive lineman, an offensive threat, but he's also a linebacker. And CJ, I think he got 10-9-1 in the 100 this year, man. Maybe if your hamstring stayed right and stayed tight, maybe you would have been there too. But you see him on film. What do you think about what the type of player he could be for Georgia? What do you really like about his game?
A great player, being that linebacker is fast and physical. So just the speed, and versatile. Because a lot of us, like linebackers, we also carry the ball too on the offensive side. So plus, so he's very versatile. So that's why I said we fit great. Being versatile, being a multi-sport athlete. So yeah, great fit. I think we're perfect fits.
CJ, I think the month of July, if I follow in my notes, there's about 10, 12 guys that are making their announcements. Are there any guys out there that you're sitting there crossing your fingers at, hoping that join the class? Is there anybody out there that you'd like to see become dogs in the month of maybe late June or also into July? Is there anybody you're hoping for?
Oh, guys, for sure. But I think the one that I can think off my head is straight is Raylan and Jared. Those guys that hoping to get for sure. Those it's some more too. Those ones just come my head straight. But yeah, those guys, yeah, I hope you get them.
So he's mentioning Jamal Jarrett, 6'6", 350. That's the type of guy that would soak up a lot of blocks for linebackers to roll downhill. Lots of questions. Let's get to some questions. Looks like a good one here from John William Adams. CJ, he wants to know, what do you feel the benefit of playing 3 sports for you over others doing more specialized? How do you think that helps you with that old school approach?
First and foremost, you're having fun. You're staying in shape and you're staying competitive, and you're competing versus other guys, so you have to use other techniques and doing stuff. So basketball, you can't run and tackle everyone. You know what I'm saying? So you gotta be disciplined. So it teaches you like different stuff playing different sports. And track, that's a whole different muscle type of thing. It's running, so it requires more stretching and stuff like that. So I would definitely say it helps your body adjust to different things, different situations.
It's funny. Everybody's saying glad to have you. Can't wait to see you be a dog. Isaac Cruz says you're going to be a beast at UGA. Phil Rogers says welcome to DawgNation. Dennis Payne says I got you being the next Roquan or even better, big dog. Man, that's a lot to live up to right there from Middle Georgia. That might make CJ want to go lift some weights after this Zoom call, because he's got somebody saying he could be better than Roquan. You said earlier you grew up a dog. Was that the school you always wanted to play for?
Yeah, this school I was wanting to play for, but as I got older, I knew it had to be the right fit for me. Just like, my God, that was the right fit for me at the time.
Harry Leggy chimes in. He said his family had a farm in Lamar County.
Wow.
Jeff Horton says he can't wait to see you play at Georgia. Joel Moody has said he wants to know, who would you like to recruit to play at Georgia with you? We've covered that one. He's mentioned Jamal Jarrett. He's mentioned Raylan Wilson. Somebody chimes in, Rhett Womack chimes in, that he threw 2 TDs against Lamar County in the 2000 playoffs. Man, he's going way back there. I bet you couldn't do that with the CJ Allen on the field. He didn't end a 5-year read.
I wasn't even born there.
Joel Moody wants to know, did you have any offers at running back? Did anybody mention you could play running back?
No, nobody never mentioned to play running back. It's probably been linebacker. Coaches made jokes about it, carrying the ball in third, that situation. But now I'm not having recruited at running back.
Jeff Horton wants to know if you're coming to a Georgia game this year. I think you're probably going to be at almost all of them. You can, right?
Yeah, for sure. I'm there every Saturday at Athens.
CJ, Randy Hall wants to know, what's your best lift? Might be power clean, and he also wants to know, what's your upcoming major?
Gotcha. What made you guess power clean?
That's the lift, man. It always is, man. I can look at you and say that dude can power clean.
It's power clean for sure. I love power clean because it's a football movement, the pulling for throwing your hip. So it basically says football. Definitely power clean. And my major, I want to major in communication. Broadcasting and stuff like that, SC network and getting stuff like that.
He's got the savvy for it, guys. We can tell that already, especially when he gets that Wi-Fi rolling downhill. Then he really knows what to do. No, man, CJ, it's just a football lift, man. It's feet, hips, hands. I mean, like, I'm sure. What is that? I bet you're probably right at 3 or close to 3. What's your power clean right now?
325. This is
yeah. This will blow your mind. Okay, when Jake Fromm was a high school senior, his power clean was 310.
Wow.
And I think Brock's was 310 as well, man. That's different, man. That level you're going at with the quarterbacks at the end of their senior season, they could even power clean 300 pounds.
Definitely a great movement,
though. Henry Carter just says he can't wait to see you bring the wood. Let's go. Brandon says this dude and AJ Harris, man, that's tough. Hey, AJ, what do you think about AJ joining the class?
AJ, that was like a stamp for him. Getting AJ, it was a stamp, so it was great. He solidified the class 2023 cornerback. So, great guy. So I felt all this, if off the field, one thing we got in common is just being a great person and having great character and humble. So I felt all this humble.
definitely. I would see both of you guys in that same light. Another question from Joel. He wants to know, he's going to throw you a curveball. One thing CJ does not play baseball, though. He does not play baseball. Maybe you did back in the day.
Never.
He wants to know, what offensive players would you like to see come to Georgia in this class?
Ooh, offensive player. Ooh, it's good. I know we had. I forgot his name. It was a wide receiver we had on our field. I think he was from Texas.
Oh, that's Jalen Hale, right?
You tell him, yeah. That's what I can think of right now.
Yeah, Justice told me that's probably another guy that you'd like to see join the class.
Yeah, Justice too, for sure.
Justice
for sure.
He said that Jalen was probably the funniest guy he's ever been around. He said Jalen had you all laughing.
He is. But he got an accent too, so like he's very funny. He's very funny.
You know what he told me? He told me way back when. I knew Georgia had targeted him a couple years ago. He told me way back when that he said if football doesn't work out, you know what his answer was? He said he wanted to be a welder because he knows welders can always make a lot of money. He was already talking about getting on the oil rig and making $200 an hour. Being a welder, that's how savvy that guy is. Now, great. Since the last time I spoke to him, he wants to be in real estate now. It's funny how you grow up a little bit and you think, man, let me get some of that NIL money. Let me be in real estate or something like that.
That's crazy.
CJ, what do you think the Dogs will be like this year on the field? What are you looking for? Do you think the defense will maybe drop a click back or two with no Jordan Davis and Nakobe? What are you expecting out of the team in 2022?
Definitely, I would not say they will drop a click because that group that passed, they kind of set the tone, so it's a standard. So you gotta be like this, be like that. So I think offense for sure gonna shock, but gonna pop. But I feel like defense gonna be like even more intense. You know, it's gonna be a great team. So it's gonna visit that's at Georgia standard. So playing that Georgia way, gonna be Georgia football.
CJ, I've seen this question from a couple of guys. Was there anybody you grew up watching play at Georgia that inspired you, or maybe that you pattern your game after a little bit? Was there anybody that you really like to see play for Georgia?
I'll say no because I really never watched football I just really just played it or just liked the game. So now I watch football more and more, you know, picking up things. But when I was a kid, I really didn't watch football. I just enjoyed it at home state, you know. I see them play a couple times, you know, like national championship, SC championship, but I really never watched football, really.
Another guy that Georgia is going after, I've seen this guy's name come up in the chat as well. What do you think about Troy Bowles? I know he's a guy, his dad is actually the head coach of the Tampa Bay Bucks. That's a guy that took an official visit. I think Georgia you, Troy Bowles, Tony Rojas, who was in this past weekend, Pup Howard, and then Troy Bowles, and then obviously Raylan Wilson. You guys were the only inside linebackers that took official visits this month. What do you know about Troy Bowles? Have you seen his game? Have you know anything about him?
Definitely. I think I seen the highlight, the first play, he hit somebody, so definitely, like, you know, especially like being versatile, being fast, being physical. So I said we definitely fit that Georgia linebacker standard, you know. I haven't met him yet in person. But really is I'm sure he's a great guy. I can't think about him. He's also a great guy off the field, you know. A big thing with us, you know, being great people. Field gonna take care of itself.
Man, CJ, I'm glad you noticed his film because I was watching that dude's film, and you know, like how you watch a football movie in Hollywood makes it feel like the guy just gets jackhammered and like helmet goes this way, ear pads go that way. A couple of hits on his film, it was like, man, is that for real or is that like some CGI or something like that?
It's crazy, yes. I was like, wow, that was the very first place too.
Yeah, so guys, that's some Before the Hedges homework tonight. I've watched it. CJ Allen's watched it. You need to go check out some of that Troy Bowles film. You're going to be like, man, no wonder his dad is the head coach now of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers.
I didn't know. His dad was the head coach for Tampa Bay.
Yeah, he was the defensive coordinator for a lot of years. He won a Super Bowl as the defensive coordinator with Brady, and that was very interesting. How he got the job when the old coach retired due to health reasons. CJ, one last thing I want to ask you, and I know a lot of people are kind of circling around the same thing. Was what Georgia did on the field last year with Nakobe and also Quay Walker, and then also Channing Tindall, and then seeing those guys perform at a high level and then get drafted during their development years at Georgia. Was that one of the final pieces of the puzzle for you to realize that Georgia was the best spot for you?
I'll say no. They definitely kind of played a part a little bit. And the reason why I say no is because regardless of their situation, it really wouldn't affect my situation because at the end of the day, regardless of what happened in their situation, Georgia, that's a great school. Coach Schumann is a great coach. So I'll say no, not really.
Fair answer, honest answer. Question again from John. He wants to know, do you watch the show All American on Netflix? You watch that one?
Yeah, I do. I watch it. Yeah, I watch it. That's a good show for me.
Oh.
It's a little fake sometimes with the routes and stuff, but I like it. It's a good show.
So if you're grading All American the way football players get graded by 24/7 and On 3 and Rivals, how many stars are you giving All American?
Oh, I give All American a 3-star.
3 stars, huh?
I
Accurate.
almost went 4. I went 4-star. I went 4-star.
Almost a 4-star. CJ, let's talk a little bit about your rankings. I know you're going to lift as much and run as much. There we are. Wow. Man, CJ's, it looks like the backside bandit got me. I'm on an Ethernet connection. I've got strong Wi-Fi, and sometimes the restream will just kick you, man.
Yeah, it's kind of been storming on that.
CJ, I just one thing I wanted to ask is you notice your rankings got a boost. Is that something that motivated you at all? Like, is that something that mattered to you at all? Or does it just make you just want to go out and get better anyway? I thought it was well-deserved how you went from maybe number 4 into the country to now you're like a top 150 overall. I actually think you're one of the top 3 linebackers in the country on anybody's polls. But, do recruits notice that stuff? Does it make you work harder, or does it even show up at all in your rearview mirror?
I'll say I'll be lying if I say I didn't look at it because I feel like every after look at it, but it doesn't put a factor was I was number 350 or like no rankings anyway. But I'll definitely I look at it just like to show respect, But it doesn't really play a factor like how I work. I'm regardless I'm number 1 and number 100. So I'm gonna work hard regardless. But I'll definitely say it's a blessing to be in there for sure.
CJ, what do you like best about playing football? What's your favorite part of the game?
I would say definitely like it's really like a team sport, and a team you're trying to reach one goal. So it allows you that you have to understand other people why and why they play the game or what drives them. Really just and it got to be something inside you, make you want to go tackle people, run the ball, stuff like that. And really, you get to hit people like basically for fun, kind of. So without getting like penalized for it, unless it's a legal hit, but overall, you get to hit people for fun. And yeah, definitely. The winning part also, and really, I'll say it's like I say football is life, really, because sometimes you might get knocked down or take steps back, but you really got to go forward. Regardless, even on the defense side of the ball, you got to take them backwards so you can go forward.
CJ, I remember Emmitt Smith said one time, he said that everybody's got dreams. Everybody dreams. And everybody wants to be great. But he said, take those dreams and write them down on paper. And then they no longer become a dream. They become a goal. They become something that you can feel between your fingers. For you, what are your dreams? What are your goals for football? Maybe your short-term dreams for the next few years of your career. And then what are your long-term dreams or long-term goals for your career?
Long term, definitely, go to the NFL. After that, after football, be on broadcast or something like SC Nets for ESPN. It's crazy, but kind of with goals, really, like daily goals. I have like different sticky notes in my locker. So my locker, top of my locker, I have sticky notes. So on one side, I got my goals like for the day or for the week, and individually, and on another side, I got the team goal. What I don't do for the team. And how I feel about goals, really, I feel like goals is once you get it, okay, then what? You know what I'm saying? So I feel like goals is kind of like a limit. So what if you want to go past that? So like, if somebody say I want to run for 1,000 yards, so what if you can go past 1,000 yards? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So when people say like the sky's the limit, now like past the sky's the limit. You know, like you know what I'm saying? Well,
I do.
the stars the limit. Yeah, so like past the star, you can go beyond the stars. So that's how I feel about goals. Really, I have like small little goals, but like as far as like 100 tackles, I don't really like do that because I just want to go beyond and keep going.
Well, CJ, you really impressed a lot of people with that answer. William Gleaton says, sounds like this young man has some things figured out. They said you're going to fit right in there. Great attitude, young man. Denise Cooper says, glad to have you in Athens. Welcome to the family. You now have at least 93,000 new aunts, uncles, and cousins. Wait till you step on that field. We love having you.
Thank y'all. Thank y'all.
Harry Leggy says desire matters, CJ. Keep that going. But Sonia Prescott, I'm going to give Sonia one of our very last questions tonight. She wants to know if you can dunk.
Yes, for sure. Yeah, I can dunk.
And CJ, I guess maybe to wrap things up, what type of player is Georgia going to get in CJ Allen when you finally buckle that on, you enroll, you step the field onto the practice field and then the game field for the University of Georgia? What type of player do you hope to be for the Dogs?
Really, that's a person that can make the team better, you know, on the field and off the field. You know, when they see me outside the field, they say, okay, he's a Georgia football player. He make the team look better. You know what I'm saying? Plus, on the field, you know, that's going to take care of itself. You know, I'm going to work hard for sure. You know, give it everything I got day in, day out. You know, so they're going to get a hard worker on the field and off the field, and a great person on the field and off the field. You know, and a person that never change. So, except on the field, be like a little more meaner or locked in, whatever. But you're going to get a great person on and off the field.
CJ, the reviews coming back says it's that dog mentality. He has it. Harry Leggy said CJ gets it. He said somebody just said, I saw it a second ago. It said put him in the kennel. He's a fit. That's a good question there that's a good comment there from Jim Witherow. He's like, man, I've heard enough. Put the guy in the kennel, man. He gets it.
Yes, sir.
Lesko Brandon wants to know, would you rather get a sack or a tackle the running back for a loss? What would you rather have? What's more fun?
I'll say a sack because, you know, we get a tackle for a loss running back, but I think I feel like a sack just as a game-changing play, really, honestly. Because you're sacking the quarterback, so I'll say sack for sure.
Henry Carter, he's got a nickname for you. Henry likes to come up with nicknames sometimes. He's just going to call you Hit Stick CJ. So when he sees you rocking that number, CJ, what number do you hope to wear at Georgia? Have you got that figured out yet? Is there one you'd love to wear?
Oh, I know 3's going to be gone, so I hope to wear 33. That was my freshman year of high school. That was my freshman number in high school, so I hope to get 33. It's kind of like taking them back from the start.
And then once you get to become a junior or a senior, then you get the chance at the 3. Everybody says those freshmen get slim pickings at that number. They got to wait a while on all those single-digit numbers.
Yeah, I know. But regardless what number I get, you know, I'm coming to ball, play football. So that's what I'm doing, play football.
Awesome. CJ Allen, man, good stuff. Great visit. Now you know why they should give him another star, because he wants to be a star on SEC Network or a star maybe on DawgNation.com one day. Maybe it'd be great. But CJ Allen right there. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Remember, follow him on Twitter. We had his on our lower thirds. We had his stuff there earlier in our show. Such a great guest. Now you see, again, guys, it reminds you a whole lot of Jalen Walker, CJ Washington. You know, it reminds you a lot of the guys in this class. There is a certain breed. There's a type of young man, highly intellectual, highly athletic, fast, physical, confident, great people, the type of guys that will be positives and pluses in the locker room. That's what you get there with CJ Allen. I really appreciate him for taking some time with us tonight on Before the Hedges, and I certainly hope you guys did too as well. Speaking of Before the Hedges is brought to you each and every week by Kroger. Kroger is, guys, that Kroger Plus, that Kroger Boost. Are you guys getting all that stuff? Those new videos we're putting out on the DawgNation Facebook page, on DawgNation Twitter, on DawgNation Instagram. Kroger Boost, guys, you could save up to $1 per gallon on your gas, and everybody needs that right now. And then what else everybody needs this weekend? Summer grilling. Right now through the end of summer, gear up for grilling, turn up the heat and flavor with new favorites for every dish over the summer. Kroger has you covered for all your outside entertaining needs. Visit your local Kroger today or Kroger.com. Summer space grilling. Summer dash grilling. There you guys. Of course, Before the Hedges becomes a podcast on the Apple Podcast platform, on Spotify, on SoundCloud, or wherever you get your favorite podcast as well. If you guys missed it, you guys want to hear more of that interview, you can go back on Facebook, you can go back on YouTube as well to recap all things CJ Allen right there from DawgNation.com. Really appreciated having him on the show. Shannon Sipsey. How many recruits do I think commit to the Dogs in July? Whew, that's a lot. That's a lot. I'm going to say this. These next 6 weeks, these next 6 to 8 weeks, I think there are going to be more commitments to the University of Georgia in any 6 to 8 week period that I've ever seen covering this program. I think so. I think that's going to be about right. I know there's some flurries there on signing days where Georgia rallies and gets like 3 or 4 in a day for a couple of days or right around a day. But I think this is kind of going to be, you guys are going to kind of see the new normal, especially with the players that Georgia likes to recruit. I think Georgia is going to try to find some guys that are not in, they found guys that are not influenced by NIL. They know the NIL will be there once they become players on the Georgia team. I think that's a very smart way to build the roster, pun intended there. But I also think that you're going to see a lot of guys take their visits. And for a championship program like Georgia, as we keep tracking their official visits, I think they're up to 39 through the month of June until the next period opens up in late July for 1 week. But, you know, Georgia's trying to get all their work done with a lot of these recruits during the summer before they have to go play big ball games. Speaking of big ball games, speaking of like those recruits everybody's talking about, let's take a look at this. We have a new top targets list. We have a new name at the top. Of course, Arch Manning was the guy that was at the top of the list a week ago for many reasons. Let's take a look at our top targets for this week. I think this is version 7.11. I think this is our 7th month of doing this, the 11th version of the 2023 class. Let's start right now. You have number 15, Raylan Wilson. That's the young man who just decommitted from Michigan last night. Raylan Wilson is a 4-star linebacker. He is the number 7 linebacker, I believe, in the country and a number 73 overall prospect. Number 14 is the 5-star offensive tackle from Brockton, Massachusetts. That is Thayer Academy. That's Samson Okunalola. Just took a big visit to Miami. He's visited Georgia. He's saving an official visit, very likely to Georgia. 5-star offensive tackle. He had a very strong unofficial visit to Georgia in the month of June during the middle of the week. Number 13, another new name on this list. Raylan is new on this list, and also Troy Bowles is new on this list. Troy Bowles, we were talking to CJ Allen about him earlier. He's a number 2 linebacker in the country. I believe he's right around number 43 overall. TJ Shanahan Jr., that we've talked about him a lot. I think he is a rugged, nasty, physical, would be a great fit for Georgia on the offensive line. He just took his official visit to Texas A&M. Number 11, this is a young man that drops in on the list. He will make his decision known on July the 1st. I believe it is Ohio State, Miami, Georgia, Penn State. I believe that's his final 4 for Daniel Harris out of Gulliver Prep High School in Miami, Florida. Really, that's a young man, guys, that I think he's probably rated among the top 150 players in the country. I think he's a lot better than that. I think he's one of the top corners in the country. I think he's right around a top 40 overall recruit. Number 9, a guy that's going to drop his, number 10 on the list is Sadir Mitchell out of Bergen Catholic. That's another ideal front guy, defensive line front guy that Georgia has their eyes on in the class of 2023. He's about 6'5". He's about 350. Expected to make his decision soon as well. Number 9 is Samuel Mpemba out of IMG Academy. He's about to drop a final schools list. Number 8 is Jonel Aguero. He's finally taken all his official visits. He checked out Florida. He checked on July the 23rd. Number 7 is James Smith. He just got fresh off of a official visit to Auburn. Number 6, Hakeem Williams, big-time playmaker. We wrote about him last week on DawgNation.com. B-Max, big for Georgia. Hakeem Williams really, really likes Georgia. Give a big shout-out to the way Georgia's recruited him, the current players on the team, especially a guy like Christian Miller. Fat Chris, you guys will remember him from the 2022 cycle. Hakeem told me that no school anywhere has a player relationship type vibe that he has with Christian Miller. Number 5, Tyler Williams. We wrote about him on DawgNation.com this week. Did you see that story this week? How this time a year ago, he was the number 3 quarterback in the spring game, got 0 reps in the spring game before his junior year. He moved to wide receiver right before his junior season, like a couple of weeks prior to game 1 in August. His first game, he scored 5 touchdowns at receiver. 3 of them counted. He's taking his official visits to Georgia, Texas A&M, several schools in the mix there as well. Tyler Williams also has something in the form of an announcement also coming out on July the 1st as well. Quay Russo out of Carver High School in Troy, Alabama, another guy that is an electric pass rusher. I think he's more of an outside linebacker edge guy than some of the interior linebackers we've mentioned before. Number 3, Justice Haynes, no longer at Blessed Trinity. Looks like we haven't updated the graphic there. I pulled a later graphic about that. Justice Haynes is now at Buford High. He's actually lives in Buford, guys. And for the longest time, he drove 45 minutes every day to go to school at Blessed Trinity. Caleb Downs, now number 2 on the list. He moves up a notch. He just finished his official visit to Ohio State. Caleb and Justice both checked out Ohio State and Alabama these past 2 weekends. They also were in Athens for the first weekend of June. So they took 3 of their 4 official visits together. Now you're hearing rumblings that Caleb Downs might take another official visit, his final 5th official visit to Texas or Texas A&M. That's what Chad Simmons of On3.com and On3 Recruits has reported this week as well. Number 1, new name on the list, big young Maul, Jamal Jarrett out of Grimsley High School in Greensboro, North Carolina. He's set to make his decision on July the 19th. Other names to pay attention to here, as we've done recently on our shows, we're kind of splitting in like these are the guys that are hot, these are the guys that are medium, and these are the guys that we also need to watch. Tyree Adams out of Louisiana, Malik Benson, he's expected to make his commitment over the weekend. Usually it's one of those things where I can see it being Georgia or Alabama right there. Anthony Evans recently dropped his top 8. That's the speedster out of Texas. Jalen Hale, a guy that was on the top targets list for a lot of weeks over the past few weeks. Jalen Hale, CJ Allen even had a story about him and his accent. Jalen Hale is now kind of, in this other category of guys to pay really close attention to. Jordan Big Baby Hall, he gave Georgia a big unofficial visit recently. Cameron James, that's a 6'6" defensive end out of Orlando. He took an official visit to UGA this past weekend. Chris Beal, big-time cornerback out of North Carolina. The graphic there says linebacker. He's actually a cornerback. Offensive lineman Kelton Smith, Jaden Wayne. Some interesting news about Jaden Wayne this week. Which I really kind of thought was the first big tipping point for Georgia to really have a chance for Jaden Wayne. He has moved from Washington now to spend his senior season at IMG Academy. Wants to check his oil, wants to see how good he can be at IMG Academy with the Ascenders. The other guy in this pertinent list as well is Damon Wilson out of Venice, Florida. I think he's probably, if you want to say he's the best outside edge rusher prospect in the country, if you want to say it's Samuel Mpemba, those are the guys that are really caught up a lot of attention from a lot of the scouts so far in the 2023 cycle. Some more names to get to as we're going to kind of fly through them. Olas Lennon, that's another guy that's making his decision over the weekend. Chase Basantes just came out of a big official visit to LSU. Jaylen Brown, 5-star wide receiver. He's actually the teammate of Daniel Harris. Jaylen Brown, seen a lot of crystal ball action there for him with Miami recently. That's a program that's gotten hot right now. Speaking of which, if you guys noticed the effect from Arch Manning since he chose Texas, I think Texas has gone from number 19 in the country with only 2 recruits in the top 100 when Arch committed on June 23rd, to now I think they have the number 2 class in the country. I think 9 guys have committed, included 2 more 5-stars since Arch committed. So Arch Manning is definitely building a class for Steve Sarkisian in Texas. Kelby Collins, another guy to Alabama who recently took an official visit to Georgia. Monroe Freeling, Connor Liu, another guy out of Kennesaw Mountain in Georgia, just took his official visit to Georgia as well. Shamarad Umarov, Caden McDonald, and Xavier McLeod. Those are some other guys to take a look at. Georgia currently has 12 commits right now in their 2023 recruiting breakdown. Number 6 nationally for the class. Last week they were number 5. 6 guys on offense, 5 on defense. 1 guy special teams, Peyton Woodring. You guys are going to read about him on DawgNation.com either tonight or really early in the morning. Finally featured a pretty good look at his choice to choose Georgia. Dogs beat Bama there for Peyton Woodring. 5 commits in state, 7 out of state. A.J. Harris is the 1 5-star, the 1 top 50 commit. Georgia currently has 4 top 100 commits in the class. That is certainly going to change. 3 out of the top 5 highest rated commits for Georgia in this class are on the offensive side of the ball. And guys, over the last week since our last show, Georgia has not offered anyone since our last show in the class of 2023. They have 2,227 offers, standing offers in the class of 2023. You see a lot of names right there, 9 running backs, only 7 tight ends, only 15 linebackers, 14 safeties. A lot of those offers in the teens or below the teens. That's usually a good precursor that Georgia's got really figured out who they want there to prioritize in that class, and there's no need for them to keep offering guys going down the list. You see other positions, wide receiver, 35 guys offered there, defensive line, 39 guys offered there, except for those 2 spots, maybe the 27 cornerbacks as well. Georgia really only circles around a certain amount of guys, and with this class and with this staff and with the national championship and all the NFL draft momentum, they don't really have to cast a wide net anymore at the University of Georgia. Guys, hope you've enjoyed our show. We had a great chat with CJ Allen. If you just joined us, we just went through the top targets and kind of looked at a lot of things that's going on right now in Georgia recruiting. A couple of things I want to make sure you guys know. If you guys have a question, please pop it down there. Pop it down there on Facebook, on YouTube. Thank you, Facebook. Thank you, YouTube as well. But one of the things I want to make sure you guys know about is there's kind of the big meaty topics going on right now in Georgia recruiting. Number 1, the recent decommitment from Raylan Wilson. That guy is a bona fide playmaker. Georgia's best shot now is at hand now that he's decommitted from Michigan. He was down to Michigan and Georgia back in December. He chose Michigan. Glenn Schumann never really stopped recruiting him, and now that's why Georgia still has a very strong chance at Raylan Wilson. I think you're going to see a lot of momentum for Georgia's class in the next 6 to 8 weeks. There's a lot of decisions coming in the next 2 weeks, 2 to 3 weeks. They have a lot of key targets that Georgia's looking at. I mean, really, it's not even unrealistic to say that in a couple of weeks, Georgia might add 4 or 5 commitments, 6 commitments, 7 commitments by the time August 1st rolls around. And Georgia does that with especially the right names that they're looking for in the class of 2023. Won't take long before they'll be right there with Ohio State and Texas as the top 2 or 3 classes in the country for 2023. I think offensive line is going to be interesting. I think linebacker is definitely interesting as well. I think that's really key to what you look at. Obviously, the wide receivers are going to be big for Georgia. The most important positions for them to restock in this class, in my mind, are offensive tackle. We had a great update with Bo Hughley. Sounds still very strongly committed to Georgia. Kirby Smart is big there for him. Broderick Jones is big there for him. Wide receiver, running back, and the outside linebacker, edge pass rushers. Those are the spots that I think will define the class of 2023, the Keep It G 2023. Let me see, guys. Any more questions? I get some Braves updates right there. We got an Adam Duvall update. He just went yard. John Paul Oviedo, thank you for the kind words there. Definitely. Harry, thank you for that. Kirby's Visor, appreciate you. Brett Pollock brings up that Wayne has been crystal ball to Miami. Brett Pollock has a thought about Jalen Hale, basically trending towards Texas. Let me see. Kirby's Visor, linebacker room, thoughts about that. We've got a lot of guys coming in. Rhett Romack, I see your question. I hope I answered it. I always thought Georgia's best chance at Raylan Wilson would take place. You start hearing good vibes about Raylan Wilson around March, April, that Georgia still had a very good shot with him. I thought that shot would best materialize if he ever made a decommitment from Michigan. He took his visits. He visited, I believe, Georgia, Florida, and Michigan in the month of June. Now he wants to back things up. Now he wants to open things up. One thing I did hear, and that was in the Raylan Wilson decommitment story yesterday on DawgNation.com, is I think Raylan Wilson's already one of that group that's planning their next trip to Georgia, which would be for the cookout in late July, that annual cookout where Georgia brings in a lot of those really leaned-in targets for each and every recruiting class. The guys that show up there, there's usually a high probability that Georgia has a very strong chance in their recruitments. Guys, it has been a Wednesday night. First of all, do one thing. Do me one solid favor. Let's give a virtual thank you, Connor. Connor actually stepped in for us tonight. Our good friend Michael Carvel is actually on vacation. He's running the board behind the glass. Connor is an integral part of our DawgNation team. If you want to talk about that guy that does all the hats, wears all the hats, wears them all with poise, class, and style, and definitely like a CJ Allen, definitely a guy that keeps trending up and skyrocketing up everybody's prospect rankings. I think what Connor does for us is invaluable. It's been invaluable for a long time now. And I, for one, am certainly glad that he's a part of our DawgNation team. Guys, that's been it. Hope you guys had yourself a good time. Hope you learned a little bit more about CJ Allen. You guys are keeping track. That is 2 2023 commitments in back-to-back weeks. Sounds like a streak to me. We'll see if we can continue on next week. I don't know how many weeks I'm going to be able to continue this streak on because Jeff's actually going to take a vacation of his own in the middle of July. But DawgNation will be here for you. We'll be here ready, covered, scattered, smothered, and covered for all that. For another night, guys, that is your intel. I am Jeff Sentell. Everybody out there, be so very well. We'll see you guys again on the pages of DawgNation.com. Enjoy that sunset right there. Enjoy your lives. Tell everybody that's around you that means something to you. You love them. And we'll see you guys again on the pages of DawgNation.com. Good night, everybody. See you later.